Hey folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. Sitting there reading nonsense on the interweb. CNN is totally shocked that President Trump called that terrorist in New York an animal. They said that people on the street might think that, and the public might think that, but the president shouldn't say that. And they're letting on how they should be totally shocked, but they're not, because he says such stuff every day. And one of them went on to say, I think he was saying that he should be took out and shot. I got news for you, fool. If that's what he was thinking, I believe he would have said it. He has a history of saying what he means. Should he call him an animal? I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. Anybody that willingly runs people down and kills them and wounds a bunch of people, well, they're definitely not on the same level as the rest of the human race. So, this guy killed, what was it, 9 people or something? And wounded, I don't know how many other, like 50 or something, I forget details. And CNN is worried about him getting his feelings hurt. Really, CNN? Really? I watched the report where they had to actually admit that Hillary had rigged the election against Bernie, and that her and the Democratic National Committee had plots and plans together. That tore them up having to tell that story. I bet it's Bush's fault. I'll tell you what, some of the nonsense that we've got to put up with, plumb ridiculous. I get so tired of it. And you know what's a crying shame? Is that there was so many Democrats that was hollering that if Trump gets in office, I'm leaving the country. I ain't heard of none of them leaving. They're all still here. Most of them was in the movies, actress, whatever. They're all still here making their big bucks. So it didn't hurt them too damn bad. They didn't want to leave their paycheck behind. But on the other hand, I know some average folks like us that are young in their 30s. And they're so tired of the games and the nonsense here in the U.S. that I know some of them that are talking about leaving the country, researching where to go. And they're dead serious. They're not on TV just giving you lip service. And that's a crying shame when our next generation is giving up on us. But why shouldn't they? Look at the nonsense. Here we're supposed to, the GOP just put together this next tax reform. One little bit I made of it, it really don't help you and I. Imagine that. Me and this one individual, we engaged in a conversation about it. And the bottom line is, when you got these career politicians up there that are buying votes with your and my money, with our tax dollars, they're not going to change nothing. Why would they? That's about like asking them to vote for term limits. Well, if they vote for term limits and they're cutting their career short, why would they do that? Truck driving training school right there, and his instructor needs to be teaching him to drop a gear and drive slower in this truck stop. There is no way that you're going to get anyone in D.C. to vote for term limits. It ain't going to happen. There is no way you're going to get anybody in D.C. to vote for any real tax cuts to you and I. Because they want big government and they need big money to run big government. And despite them hollering how they're cutting this and cutting that, did you notice it keeps growing? We're getting more and more government employees. We're getting more and more organizations. It's a shame. It really is. And I don't know what to do anymore. You know, I was talking to another individual. We was talking about it. And I said, the only thing we used to be able to do is vote. Hell, the way the elections are being rigged, is our voting really counting? With the way they get voted in and they forget what they was running on, what they told us they was going to do, and they're doing the exact opposite. Is voting doing any good? We're in a sorry state of affairs right now. But like I told the fella that I was talking about the taxes with, all we can do is wait and see. Unfortunately, to my knowledge, Trump has been pretty square with us. There's a couple of things that's made me raise my eyebrow, but he's been fairly square with us. So all we can do is wait and see and hope that he does us good in the long run. And the way they write all them tax reforms and nonsense, they don't write it where you and I can read it. They don't want you and I to understand it. And whatever they wrote this month, you go back and check in a year and it ain't going to say the same thing. They're going to change it. Talking to someone here a little while back, or just a couple of days ago, and I forget what state he was telling me about, but Big Truck, did you just high center on that pole? I think he may have. But he was saying there was a couple of states that have been trying to get different things passed in the elections, and they're just barely missing because of political pull. And he said those states are now talking about taking the vote away from the people and just making it laws. What they want passed, get it passed. Well, I understand their frustration and all that, but that still ain't how it's set up to be. And it's a crying shame that they're having to look at it that way. No. Our political system is so far out of whack. It's crazy. Oh. Alright, I didn't tell you nothing you don't know. It's a messed up country we're living in right now, and I sure don't know what the hope of it all is. Well, he wasn't stuck, he just pulled on down. Alright, y'all have a good evening. Remember, God loves you and so do I. Our politicians, not so much. Alright, good night.